Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in everyone's life when you realize that certain habits are not just holding you back, but they're keeping you stuck in a cycle that limits your growth. We all have habits that we are ashamed of, things we do repeatedly even when we know they aren't good for us. Maybe it's procrastination, maybe it's negative thinking, or maybe it's something like avoiding responsibilities or unhealthy eating. Whatever it is, these habits shape our lives more than we care to admit. The first step to breaking free from them is to recognize that you have the power to change. Breaking a bad habit starts with the powerful act of acknowledging that the habit exists. It sounds simple, but it's often the hardest part of the journey. For many of us, we don't even recognize our bad habits because they have become so ingrained in our daily routines that we do them without thinking. This is where self-awareness plays an essential role. You cannot change something if you are unaware of it, or if you refuse to accept that it's negatively affecting your life. Habits, particularly the bad ones, are often so deeply rooted that they can become part of your identity. But the first step to breaking them is recognizing that you have the power to change them, and that the habit doesn't define who you are. When you acknowledge a bad habit, you take away its power. You're no longer a victim to it. You are an active participant in choosing whether or not to keep it in your life. This requires a level of honesty with yourself. It requires you to look in the mirror and be truthful about the things that are holding you back. Whether it's an addiction, unhealthy eating habits, negative thinking, procrastination, or anything else, recognizing the habit allows you to regain control of the situation. It's not about shame or guilt, it's about clarity. Without that clarity, the habit remains something you do automatically, without ever questioning it. A big part of acknowledging a bad habit is understanding its impact on your life. It's important to dig deeper and ask yourself, how is this habit affecting my health, relationships, productivity, or overall happiness? Sometimes we don't realize how much our bad habits are holding us back until we take the time to examine the consequences. Maybe your bad habit is robbing you of time, preventing you from reaching your goals, or causing you physical or emotional harm. When you reflect on the damage these habits cause, you will find the motivation to change. Recognizing the habit isn't just about admitting it's there, it's about understanding that it doesn't serve you. And when you realize that, change becomes a choice rather than something you feel you have to do. Another crucial part of acknowledging your bad habits is identifying the triggers that lead to them. Often habits form in response to external factors, stress, boredom, or emotional triggers. For instance, once you understand the why behind your habit, you can begin to break it down and address the root cause. This understanding empowers you to make conscious decisions to break the cycle. For example, if you find that you tend to overeat when you're stressed, you can learn to identify the stress and replace the eating with healthier coping mechanisms, like going for a walk or practicing deep breathing. By recognizing what sets off your bad habit, you gain the power to choose a different response. But why is acknowledging the habit so important? Because it's the first step in the process of change. Without acknowledging the habit, you are simply continuing in autopilot mode. When you make the choice to recognize the habit, you open up the possibility for growth. You no longer allow the habit to control you. You take the reins and choose your actions consciously. This is empowering. However, the process isn't always easy. Often we avoid acknowledging our bad habits because we don't want to confront the discomfort that comes with change. There is a fear of failure, a fear of disappointment, or even a fear of losing a part of ourselves that we've identified with for so long. But remember, bad habits do not define you. They are simply patterns that have developed over time, and patterns can be changed. With the right mindset, the right tools, and the right support, you can transform these habits and make them a thing of the past. It all begins with the decision to face them head-on. Acknowledging them is an act of self-love, because it is the first step toward becoming the best version of yourself. Understanding where your bad habits come from is a crucial step in breaking free from them. Habits, especially the bad ones, don't just appear out of nowhere. They develop over time due to specific reasons and influences. By examining the root causes of your habits, you can begin to see patterns that you might not have noticed before. These patterns often tie back to your environment, your upbringing, and your emotional state. Bad habits are not always a reflection of your character. Sometimes they are learned behaviors that become ingrained due to repeated exposure or unhealthy coping mechanisms. Your environment plays a significant role in the habits you develop. Whether you realize it or not, you are constantly influenced by the people around you and the places you frequent. For instance, if you are surrounded by people who indulge in unhealthy eating habits or constantly procrastinate, you are more likely to adopt those same behaviors. Our social circles often have a subconscious influence on our actions. This is why it's so important to pay attention to who you surround yourself with. Are the people in your life supporting your growth, or are they reinforcing the habits that keep you stuck? Changing your environment may be necessary to break free from old habits. This could mean distancing yourself from negative influences, or finding a group of people who uplift and encourage positive change. Upbringing also plays a key role in shaping the habits you develop. The way you were raised, the values instilled in you, and the behaviors modeled by your family members all contribute to the formation of your habits. If you grew up in an environment where certain behaviors were normalized, you may not even realize that they are harmful until much later in life. For example, if you were taught to deal with stress by turning to food, or if emotional vulnerability was met with criticism, you might have adopted unhealthy coping mechanisms. Understanding how your upbringing shaped your habits allows you to break the cycle and create healthier patterns. It's not about blaming your past. It's about recognizing how the past influences your present and choosing to take control of your future. Emotional triggers also play a significant role in habit formation. Many bad habits are coping mechanisms that you've developed over time to deal with emotions like stress, anxiety, or loneliness. For example, if you have a habit of overthinking or engaging in negative self-talk, it may be a response to past trauma or unresolved emotional pain. Similarly, habits like procrastination often arise from a fear of failure or perfectionism. When faced with a task, instead of tackling it head-on, you may avoid it because of an underlying fear or anxiety. These emotional triggers can be powerful, and understanding them is essential for breaking bad habits. The key is not to avoid or suppress your emotions, but to address them in a healthier way. By learning new emotional regulation techniques, such as mindfulness, journaling, or talking to a trusted friend, you can begin to replace your old coping mechanisms with healthier alternatives. Another factor in habit formation is the comfort of routine. Habits are often created out of the need for comfort and familiarity. When life feels unpredictable or overwhelming, the routines and behaviors you've formed become a source of security. This is why breaking bad habits can feel so uncomfortable. Change disrupts the security of your routines, and the unfamiliarity can trigger feelings of fear or resistance. However, in order to grow, you must be willing to step outside of your comfort zone. Recognizing that your habits are a response to discomfort helps you to understand that breaking them will require a certain level of discomfort as well. It's important to realize that while change may be uncomfortable in the beginning, it's temporary. Over time, as you replace bad habits with healthier ones, the discomfort will fade, and you will begin to feel more comfortable with the new routines you've established. Finally, bad habits are often a result of unmet needs or desire. For instance, if you have a bad habit of constantly scrolling through your phone or binge watching television, it could be a way to escape from feelings of boredom, dissatisfaction, or stress. By recognizing the unmet needs behind these habits, you can start to address the root causes instead of just the symptoms. What are you seeking when you engage in these habits? Is it relaxation, connection, validation? Once you identify the underlying need, you can begin to seek healthier ways to fulfill it. This is the key to breaking the cycle of bad habits and replacing them with habits that serve your well-being and growth. Understanding where your habits come from is not about blaming yourself or others. It's about taking ownership of your actions and recognizing that change is possible. When you understand the root causes, you can address them directly, which gives you a clearer path to breaking free from bad habits. Breaking bad habits requires not only external support but also an internal shift in how we view ourselves and how we handle mistakes along the way. One of the most important aspects of this journey is to be kind and compassionate with yourself. Too often we fall into the trap of harsh self-criticism when we slip up, thinking that a single setback means we have failed completely. However, being kind to yourself is not about letting yourself off the hook. It's about recognizing that change is difficult and that mistakes are part of the process. This mindset is essential for long-term success in breaking bad habits. When we set out to break a bad habit, it's easy to become frustrated when we fall back into old patterns. Maybe you were doing well for a few days or even weeks, and then one stressful day, you find yourself reverting to the habit you are trying to eliminate. In that moment, it's natural to feel disappointment or self-doubt. You may think, I'll never be able to change, or I've ruined all my progress. This is where the power of self-compassion comes into play. Instead of chastising yourself, remind yourself that breaking habits is not a straight line. It's a series of peaks and valleys, and setbacks are an inevitable part of the journey. These moments are opportunities to learn, not to judge yourself. Instead of saying, I failed, try reframing the situation by asking, what can I learn from this? Understanding that mistakes are a natural part of growth allows you to be gentle with yourself and move forward without dwelling on past errors. In addition to being compassionate about mistakes, self-compassion involves recognizing your efforts and progress, no matter how small they seem. Many people are quick to notice when they fail, but they fail to celebrate their victory. When you are breaking a bad habit, progress may come in tiny steps that feel insignificant in the grand scheme of things. However, these small wins are worth acknowledging because they are proof that you are on the right path. Whether it's choosing a healthier meal, resisting the urge to procrastinate, or practicing patience in a stressful situation, these moments matter. They are signs that you are changing, and they deserve recognition. Taking the time to celebrate your successes, even if they seem small, reinforces the positive behavior and encourages you to keep going. Another important aspect of self-compassion is learning how to manage your emotions throughout the process. Breaking bad habits is an emotional journey. There will be times when you feel frustrated, overwhelmed, or discouraged. During these moments, it's easy to give in to negative emotions and revert to the comfort of old habits. Instead of beating yourself up for feeling this way, acknowledge your emotions without judgment. Understand that emotions are a natural part of the process, and it's okay to feel them. What matters is how you respond. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a close friend going through a difficult time. Rather than suppressing your emotions or feeling guilty for having them, allow yourself to feel them fully and then refocus on your goals. This mindset shift makes it easier to navigate the emotional ups and downs of breaking a bad habit without feeling defeated. It's also important to recognize that breaking bad habits doesn't mean you're not worthy of love or success. Often people hold on to their bad habits because they feel undeserving of better things. They may tell themselves that they don't deserve happiness or health, or that they're incapable of making lasting changes. This mindset can keep you stuck in a cycle of self-sabotage. The truth is, every person deserves the opportunity to grow and change. Self-compassion is about acknowledging that you are worthy of success and happiness, regardless of your past behaviors. By accepting that you are deserving of improvement and growth, you give yourself permission to pursue the changes you want in your life without guilt or shame. Being kind to yourself also means being realistic in your expectations. Change is a gradual process, and expecting instant results can set you up for disappointment. It's easy to become discouraged if you don't see immediate progress, or if the road to breaking a bad habit feels longer than you anticipated. Self-compassion involves understanding that change doesn't happen overnight, and that there will be bumps along the way. Instead of focusing on the end result, focus on the journey. Acknowledge the small steps you're taking each day and give yourself credit for those efforts. By setting realistic expectations, you allow yourself the space to grow at your own pace, without unnecessary pressure. Finally, self-compassion encourages you to be patient with yourself. Breaking bad habits can be challenging, and there will be times when you feel like giving up. It's in these moments that patience with yourself becomes crucial. Recognize that personal growth takes time, and just because you haven't reached your goal yet doesn't mean you won't. Trust the process, and understand that setbacks don't define your progress. They are just a temporary part of the path toward transformation. With time, your new habits will become second nature, but this will only happen if you're patient and kind to yourself along the way. The journey of breaking bad habits is long and often difficult, but by practicing self-compassion you can make the process easier and more manageable. Rather than letting setbacks define your journey, use them as stepping stones toward your goal. Celebrate your progress, embrace your emotions, and remind yourself that you are worthy of change. The kindness and patience you show yourself will be the foundation for lasting transformation. Celebrating your victories, no matter how small they seem, is an essential part of breaking bad habits and building new, positive ones. It is easy to overlook the progress you've made because it feels insignificant compared to the larger goal. However, recognizing and celebrating these small milestones is not just important, it is a vital tool for sustaining motivation and reinforcing the changes you're trying to make. Every time you celebrate a victory, no matter how small, you create a positive feedback loop that encourages continued growth and progress. When you're trying to break a bad habit, the road can often feel long and discouraging. The larger goal of completely transforming your behavior might seem distant or out of reach. In these moments, the temptation to give up can be overwhelming. However, celebrating small victories along the way helps you stay focused on the progress you've made, rather than the distance between where you are and where you want to be. For example, if you've been working on overcoming procrastination and you manage to complete a task ahead of schedule, that's a victory worth celebrating. It may feel like a small win, but it represents a shift in your habits and mindset. It's easy to dismiss these small moments, but they are proof that you are capable of change. Celebrating your victories also helps to shift your focus from the challenges to the positive outcome. Often we get so caught up in the obstacles and difficulties of changing our habits that we forget to acknowledge the progress we've made. The process of breaking bad habits is not linear, and there will be times when it feels like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. It's important to recognize that setbacks are a normal part of the process, and don't diminish the progress you've made. Instead of fixating on the mistakes or the times you've slipped up, celebrate the moments when you succeeded. This positive reinforcement keeps you motivated and reminds you that change is possible, even when the journey feels challenging. Another reason why celebrating small victories is important is that it helps build self-confidence. When you make progress, no matter how small, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of achieving your goals. Confidence is often built through small successes, and by celebrating these moments, you strengthen your belief in your ability to continue breaking your bad habit. As you accumulate small victories, you start to realize that change is not only possible, but it's also within your control. This sense of empowerment propels you forward and makes it easier to overcome future challenges. Celebrating victories also allows you to practice self-compassion. Many people are quick to criticize themselves when they fail, but rarely do they acknowledge their successes. Practicing self-compassion means acknowledging your achievements, no matter how small, and giving yourself credit for the effort you've put in. Instead of focusing on what you haven't yet achieved, take a moment to appreciate the progress you've made. This helps you maintain a positive mindset and prevents you from getting bogged down by feelings of failure or frustration. When you celebrate your successes, you teach yourself to appreciate the journey, not just the destination. It's important to remember that these celebrations don't have to be grand gestures. The acknowledgement of your progress can be as simple as giving yourself a pat on the back, taking a moment to reflect on how far you've come, or even treating yourself to something small that brings you joy. These celebrations are about recognizing that you are actively working toward a better version of yourself, and that is something worth honoring. By taking the time to celebrate, you remind yourself that you're doing the hard work, and that effort deserves recognition. Celebrating small victories also encourages a mindset of gratitude. It's easy to take progress for granted, but when you pause to acknowledge your successes, you foster a sense of gratitude for your efforts and the changes you're making. Gratitude helps to reinforce positive behavior and makes you more likely to continue taking the actions that are helping you break your bad habits. When you focus on what you've accomplished rather than what you haven't yet done, you cultivate a mindset that supports growth and progress. Additionally, celebrating small victories helps to build momentum. When you recognize your progress, you create a sense of achievement that drives you to continue moving forward. Each small success builds on the last, creating a snowball effect of positive change. By celebrating frequently, you keep the momentum going and keep yourself motivated to take the next step. As you continue to achieve small victories, the big goal of breaking your bad habit becomes more achievable, and you develop a sense of pride in the progress you've made. Incorporating celebration into your journey of breaking bad habits is an essential part of the process. It helps you stay focused on the positive aspects of change, reinforces your self-belief, and encourages a mindset of gratitude and self-compassion. Celebrating small victories reminds you that the journey is as important as the destination, and that every step forward, no matter how small, is an achievement. These celebrations are not just rewards, they are powerful tools that help you maintain the motivation and mindset necessary to continue breaking bad habits and building a better future. Consistency is key when it comes to breaking bad habits and replacing them with positive ones. It is often said that consistency is what separates those who succeed from those who fall short. While it's easy to feel motivated when starting a new habit, the real challenge lies in maintaining that momentum over time. Breaking a bad habit isn't a one-time event, but rather a process that requires daily effort and persistence. If you want to see lasting change, you must commit to showing up, even when it's tough, even when you don't feel like it. When you start working on breaking a bad habit, it's natural to feel excited and motivated in the beginning. You might even experience immediate improvements, but soon enough, the novelty of the change wears off. This is the point where most people tend to give up. The first few days or weeks are often the easiest, but it's the long-term consistency that leads to true transformation. When you commit to something, you're essentially agreeing to put in the effort, day in and day out, regardless of how you feel or how many obstacles come your way. The reason consistency is so crucial is because habits are deeply ingrained in your daily routine. Over time, they become automatic responses to specific triggers or situations. In order to break these habits, you need to replace them with new behaviors that also become automatic. This takes time and repetition. Just like you didn't develop your bad habits overnight, you won't be able to break them overnight either. It's a gradual process, and consistency ensures that you are reinforcing the new behavior until it becomes second nature. Consistency helps to create new neural pathways in your brain. When you consistently choose a new behavior over the old one, you're essentially rewiring your brain. The more you practice the new behavior, the stronger the connection between your actions and your desired outcome becomes. Eventually, the new behavior becomes a default response, just like the old habit once was. But to make this happen, you need to show up for yourself every day, even when you don't feel like it. This doesn't mean that every day will be perfect, but it does mean that you should make the effort to stay on track, even when progress feels slow. Another reason consistency is important is that it builds discipline. Discipline is the ability to stay committed to a course of action despite the challenges and temptations that may arise. It's easy to make excuses or to give up when things get tough, but it's in these moments that discipline is formed. By staying consistent with your efforts, you train yourself to overcome obstacles and to push through the discomfort. Discipline is what keeps you going even when motivation fades. It is what helps you stick to your goals when the initial excitement has worn off and the reality of change begins to feel overwhelming. It's important to understand that consistency doesn't mean perfection. There will be days when you slip up, and that's okay. The key is to not let one setback derail your progress. Instead of letting a single mistake make you feel like a failure, view it as part of the learning process. Consistency doesn't mean you won't encounter obstacles, but it does mean that you will keep going despite them. It's about showing up day after day, even when it feels difficult or discouraging. What matters is that you continue to take steps in the right direction, no matter how small they may seem. Sometimes the road to breaking a bad habit can feel long and exhausting. The excitement of change can fade, and the comfort of your old habits may begin to tempt you. This is when consistency truly shines. When you feel like giving up, remind yourself of why you started in the first place. Reconnect with your goals and the reasons you want to make a change. Consistency isn't about being perfect, it's about making progress, even when that progress feels slow. With each small step, you're getting closer to your goal. One of the best ways to stay consistent is to create a structured routine around your new habit. Having a clear plan and a set schedule makes it easier to stick to your goals. Whether it's setting aside specific time each day to work on your new behavior, or breaking your goal down into smaller, more manageable tasks, a routine helps to keep you on track. When you make your new habit a non-negotiable part of your day, it becomes harder to avoid. A routine helps to remove the decision-making process, which can often be a barrier to consistency. By eliminating the need to decide whether or not to engage in the new behavior, you're making it easier to stay consistent. You can also track your progress to stay motivated. Seeing how far you've come can be a powerful motivator to continue your effort. Whether it's keeping a journal, marking off days on a calendar, or using a habit tracking app, tracking your progress helps you stay accountable to yourself. It's easy to lose sight of your progress when you're in the midst of a long journey, but tracking your success can help you recognize how far you've come. It can serve as a reminder of the positive changes you're making, even when it feels like you're not making immediate progress. Consistency is the foundation of lasting change. It requires effort, discipline, and persistence. But it is through consistency that you will replace your bad habits with positive ones. By committing to showing up every day and staying focused on your goals, you set yourself up for success. Breaking a bad habit is not a sprint, it's a marathon. The more consistent you are, the closer you will get to the person you want to become. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every day you stay consistent, you're one step closer to a better, healthier version of yourself. Replacing bad habits with positive alternatives is one of the most effective strategies for breaking free from destructive patterns. It's not enough to simply stop doing something. You need to actively replace that old behavior with a new, healthier one. This process can feel challenging at first, but with the right mindset and approach, it becomes a rewarding journey toward growth and self-improvement. The key is to choose an alternative that aligns with the changes you want to make in your life and commit to it fully. The first step in replacing a bad habit is to identify the new habit you want to develop. This is where the power of intention comes into play. It's essential to be clear about what you want to replace your bad habit with. For example, if you have the habit of mindlessly scrolling through social media for hours, you might decide to replace that habit with reading a book, exercising, or practicing mindfulness. The important thing is to choose something that aligns with your goals and values. When you replace a bad habit with something that brings you closer to your aspirations, you not only break the cycle, but also build a stronger foundation for your future. Once you've chosen your new habit, the next step is to make it a regular part of your routine. This requires consistency and discipline. It's easy to fall back into old habits, especially when the new behavior feels unfamiliar or uncomfortable. But the more you practice your new habit, the easier it becomes. In the beginning, it might feel awkward or even forced, but that's completely normal. Just like any new skill, forming a new habit takes time and repetition. Eventually, it becomes second nature, and you'll find that you don't have to think twice about engaging in the new behavior. Another important aspect of replacing bad habits is creating triggers that remind you to engage in your new behavior. Habits are often linked to specific triggers or cues, things in your environment that prompt you to act. For instance, if you're trying to quit smoking, you might notice that you tend to light up a cigarette when you're stressed or after a meal. By identifying these triggers, you can create new ones that prompt you to engage in your new, healthier habit. Perhaps instead of reaching for a cigarette when you're stressed, you take a deep breath, go for a walk, or do a few minutes of stretching. By associating your new behavior with the same triggers that previously led to the old habit, you can rewire your brain and make the new habit stick. It's also important to track your progress and celebrate small victories along the way. Change doesn't happen overnight, and it's easy to get discouraged if you don't see immediate results. However, every step you take toward replacing your bad habit is a success. Keeping track of your progress, whether it's through journaling, setting milestones, or using a habit tracking app, can help you stay motivated and reinforce your commitment to the new behavior. Recognize that even small improvements are a sign of progress, and take time to acknowledge your efforts. This helps build momentum and encourages you to keep going, even when things get tough. Support from others can also play a significant role in helping you replace bad habits. Whether it's friends, family, or a mentor, having people who encourage you and hold you accountable can make a huge difference. When you share your goals with others, they can offer encouragement, check in on your progress, and help you stay on track. Sometimes simply knowing that someone else is rooting for you can give you the strength to keep going, even when you're tempted to fall back into old patterns. You don't have to do it alone, and seeking support is a sign of strength, not weakness. One of the biggest challenges in replacing bad habits is dealing with setbacks. It's important to remember that setbacks are a natural part of the process, and don't mean that you failed. Breaking old patterns and creating new ones takes time, and there will be moments when you slip up or fall back into your old ways. What matters is how you respond to these setbacks. Rather than giving up, view setbacks as learning opportunity. Reflect on what led to the setback and use it as a chance to adjust your approach. With each setback, you're learning more about yourself and strengthening your resolve to keep moving forward. Replacing bad habits also requires a shift in mindset. It's not just about stopping a behavior, it's about changing the way you think and feel about the behavior itself. If you focus solely on the negative aspects of the old habit, you may find yourself feeling deprived or frustrated. Instead, focus on the positive benefits of your new habit. For example, if you're replacing junk food with healthy meals, focus on the energy and vitality that comes from nourishing your body. By shifting your focus to the rewards of your new habit, you make it easier to stay committed and motivated. Ultimately, replacing bad habits is about taking control of your life and choosing to create a future that aligns with your values and goals. It's not always easy, but it is possible. With patience, persistence, and a clear vision of the person you want to become, you can replace your bad habits with healthier, more fulfilling behaviors that support your well-being and growth. The journey may be challenging at times, but the rewards are worth it. The idea that change is possible, no matter how deeply entrenched a bad habit may seem, is one of the most empowering beliefs you can hold. Often we feel trapped by our habits, especially the ones we've struggled with for years. They become part of our daily life, shaping our routines and even our sense of self. However, just because a habit has been with you for a long time does not mean it is permanent. The truth is, change is always within reach, but it starts with the belief that you have the ability to make that change. Understanding that change is possible means embracing the fact that you have control over your life and your action. It's easy to feel powerless in the face of bad habits, especially when they've been with you for so long. But power lies not in the habit itself, but in your decision to take responsibility for breaking it. The moment you choose to take ownership of your habits is the moment you start to reclaim control. This is where true transformation begins, when you recognize that you are not bound by your past actions or by the habits that have been with you for years. You are always capable of growth and change. One of the most important aspects of making change possible is understanding that it will take time. Habits are built over a period of time, and they won't disappear overnight. Change requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to embrace the process. When you set out to break a bad habit, it's important to give yourself grace and be realistic about the challenges that will arise. There will be setbacks, and there will be moments when you feel like giving up. But this is part of the process. Progress is rarely linear. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. The key is to keep moving forward, no matter how slow or difficult it may seem. Each day is a new opportunity to make a different choice, and each small change compounds over time to create lasting transformation. It's also important to remember that change is not a one-time event, it's a journey. As you start working on breaking your bad habits, you may find yourself slipping back into old patterns. This can be discouraging, but it's a normal part of the process. Changing habits requires reprogramming your mind, and the brain often defaults to old patterns when it encounters stress or discomfort. The key is not to be discouraged by setbacks, but to see them as learning opportunities. When you slip up, instead of giving up entirely, take a moment to reflect on what caused the relapse. Did something trigger the behavior? Were you feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Understanding the reasons behind your setbacks allows you to adjust your approach and build resilience. Another crucial element in making change possible is the support you surround yourself with. Change is not something that needs to be done alone. In fact, it's often easier to break bad habits when you have a support system to help you along the way. Whether it's friends, family, or a mentor, having people who encourage you and hold you accountable can make all the difference. They can offer guidance, share their own experiences, and remind you that you are not alone in your struggle. Sometimes just knowing that someone else believes in your ability to change can be enough to keep you going when you feel like giving up. Believing that change is possible also involves shifting your mindset from one of defeat to one of possibility. Instead of focusing on the difficulty of breaking a bad habit, focus on the benefits of the change. What will your life look like when you break free from the habit? How will it improve your relationships, your health, your work, or your happiness? Keeping the end goal in mind can provide motivation during the times when the process feels overwhelming. By focusing on the positive outcomes, you can maintain your momentum and remind yourself why the change is worth it. In the process of breaking bad habits, it's crucial to replace them with healthier alternatives. It's not enough to simply stop doing something. You need to actively engage in a new behavior that aligns with the person you want to become. For example, if you're trying to break the habit of procrastination, replace it with a routine of time management and accountability. If you're working on replacing negative self-talk, try using affirmations or practicing gratitude. By shifting your focus to positive actions, you make it easier to break free from the bad habits that have been holding you back. Ultimately, believing that change is possible is the foundation for breaking bad habits. It requires patience, persistence, and a shift in mindset. But with time and effort, it is always achievable. When you believe in your ability to change, you unlock the door to transformation. You take control of your life and choose the path of growth. And from there, anything is possible. When it comes to breaking bad habits, surrounding yourself with supportive people can make all the difference. Change is difficult, and doing it alone can feel overwhelming. The journey of transformation becomes much easier and more achievable when you have a network of people who encourage, support, and hold you accountable. People often underestimate the power of a strong support system, but the truth is, the right people can help keep you motivated, offer guidance, and give you a much-needed boost when things get tough. The first way supportive people help is by providing encouragement. Breaking a bad habit can feel isolating at times, especially if you're the only one in your circle who's trying to make a positive change. In these moments, hearing a kind word or a reminder that you're on the right path can keep you going. Supportive people remind you that what you're doing is worthwhile, and that even when progress feels slow, it's still progress. Their words act as a shield against self-doubt, helping you maintain your resolve. Whether it's a friend who checks in on your progress or a family member who praises your efforts, these little